He's in a parking lot. We have kids coming out of the school all day long. You know, they're going to jobs, coming back from appointments. He's in the parking lot. You know, he's still a danger. He's still a threat.
He chased the shooter moments after the boy opened fire on his classmates. Tonight, the deputy based in that school talks exclusively with Local 12 about those chilling moments. Good evening, everyone. 1 week ago today, a local school was on lockdown after a shooter struck at Madison Senior High School.
And today, the school resource officer who got the young gunman talked with our Rich Jaffe. Rich?
Rob, besides being a deputy for 30 years and now an SRO, Kent Hall has also been on the Madison Township Fire Department for 35 years. He's the chief. Regardless of how much he has seen, done, or trained for, he told me today in our exclusive interview, the shooting at his school was one of those things that people always believe just can't happen here.
It happens so fast. I mean, you hear the pop, 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 pop going off, and it's reaction. You get to the cafeteria, you got kids on the ground. What do?
School resource officer and Butler County Deputy Kent Hall had just walked out of the cafeteria last Monday and down to his office when 14-year-old Austin Hancock allegedly opened fire on his classmates. 9 seconds later, Hall ran back into tragedy.
Doors open, entered the cafeteria, seen several kids, lying on the ground. And at this point, the administrators, I knew they was coming. So I had to make a decision. Do I go to the kids? I look out the right-hand side, look out the door, I see this kid sprinting. So putting one and one together, it's got to be the suspect.
Hall followed his active shooter training going for the suspect.
And went in where I thought the direction he'd be traveling. Parked my car, ran into that area, made myself known that I'm in that area, and sure enough, he laid down.
Moments later, a canine located Hancock and he was arrested.
You hope and pray that it won't happen, but they should learn that you should train and plan for the worst. This one here, the worst possible incident that could ever occur here at school, but we had the best possible outcome.
That outcome, 2 students with gunshot wounds, which they'll survive, 2 others sustained minor injuries, and the shooter quickly behind bars. Hall says he's glad he wasn't confronted by a 14-year-old with a gun.
Did you get lucky that you didn't have to make that decision?
Yes. Everybody got lucky that we didn't have to make a decision.
Kent Hall says he's no hero, just doing the job he gets paid to do.
When I ran out that door going after the kid, you should have seen the principals and AD and everybody going to the kids. They didn't have to, That's what impressed me.
Kent Hall was being modest there. He chooses to do that job, as we mentioned. He's also the fire chief. His wife is an EMT, and she was working on the injured students. He spoke to his daughter later on that night, and son Thomas is a township trustee. He was also on site wanting to make sure that his dad and the students all made it out of there okay.
And if I'm right, if my memory serves, this man was involved in a lot of other split-second, very serious decisions in his life, wasn't he?
He absolutely was. He's been, as I mentioned there, a deputy on Butler County for 30 years. Mm-hmm. He's been with the fire department there for more than that. I mean, this guy is a real pro.
And you covered him before. I think Katrina, you went with him, and there was another incident too that he was involved in.
There was, and you'll have a little bit on that coming up in just a moment. The Katrina part of this, he was the team leader for a unit of Butler County deputies that went down to Katrina. We had the pleasure of the privilege of going along with them. They replaced the police department in Wiggins, Mississippi for quite a while, so those guys could get back to their families. It was quite an experience and quite a pro. It's also a pleasure to be able to tell his story.
Fascinating story. Thanks, Rich.